Hello folks, or should I say, kia ora. Kia ora might give you a clue as to where we find ourselves this fine morn. We're back in the TBM, 9:30. Something a little bit different today though. We are without Jude. However, she has been ably replaced, and I would argue better replaced, with a special guest that is currently obscured by the light. But inside this virtual aircraft is a character that we haven't seen on the channel for a little while. And we are reacquainting ourselves with each other and with this beautiful part of the world and this fantastic aeroplane on a bit of a long haul here for us today. This aircraft, we're going to kind of fly towards its limit, its endurance of limit, and probably the limits of my patience as well. Just noticing, don't spend too much time looking at the grass here, folks. It's quite hypnotic, easy to get lost. Look at it, just beautiful, swaying back and forth, back and forth. You're getting sleepy. But that's probably because you're getting bored with this long introduction. Folks, let me show you our flight plan for today. And here we are in little nav map. Yes, if you'd guessed by my reference to kia ora, the Maori version of welcome. Has quite a bit of meaning, kia ora, doesn't it? For the Maoris, and for the wider New Zealand population as well. But essentially it means welcome. We're in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and I must apologise right up front. I'm going to mispronounce many things during the course of this flight because it's going to be a long one. We're going to go top to tail in New Zealand, folks. We're going to begin at the very north, the northernmost airport, airstrip, airfield that I can find anyway. I mean, you could probably argue that you could take off from one of these beaches and you'd be further north. But, you know, don't let facts get in the way of a good story, folks. We are going to depart from a place called Waitiki Aerodrome up here, the very far north of the North Island, and head generally in a southerly direction. Well, kind of. I mean, we're going to have a bit of a bend to it. A deliberate pun there, folks. You'll see why. It's kind of almost looks, we're going to sort of fly the spine of Unzud. Kind of. I mean, if your spine was afflicted with scoliosis, maybe. I know a thing or two about that, just quietly. But anyway, back to the ranch. Kaitaia, down over Dargaville. We're going to kind of hug the western side of the North Island, just to the west of Auckland. Parakai, Limestone Downs, Raglan, Te overhead the famous Waitomo Caves, and sort of to the west of Taupo. Overhead, there's a big hill with a bit of white stuff on the top of it. Waiouru, there's an army base down there. Then down to Palmerston North, Wellington, across the Cook Strait. And then we're going to kind of hug the eastern side of the South Island. So overhead the famous Kaikoura, and then Rangiora. And we'll sort of take a bit of a dog leg. Don't want to disturb the good folks of Christchurch. Lord knows they've had enough disturbances in their part of the world over the years. But shout out to all of my Christchurch viewers. I spent a bit of time in Christchurch. Tekapo, Lake Tekapo, Queenstown. You've got to go to Queens, or you've got at least sort of fly in the vicinity of Queenstown when you come to this part of the world. Then down to Invercargill and across the Fovo Strait. Fovo Strait. One of those will be correct, or close enough to it. And landing in a place called Ryan's Creek here on Stewart Island, otherwise known as Rangiora. So, that is top to tail, genuine. I've been wanting to do this flight for a little while. I've tried it before. I've started some videos before. but not quite with the flavour that this one will have. Flight time of 3 hours 33 minutes, so we're really pushing it in terms of endurance. We're going to land apparently with about 196 kilos worth of gas. We've got some pretty significant headwinds down here on the south of the South Island. We may end up planning a cruise at 290. We may end up dropping down to get out of some of those headwinds for the last bit, but we'll see how we go. It won't be my decision today because I'm not flying. And to explain how this is going to work, let's jump into the virtual cockpit. And look who it is. It's Josh. He's back. Haven't seen you for a while, mate. How are you, Josh? Josh? You hear me, mate?
It's Joshua, not Josh.
Oh. Yes, of course it is. I forgot how much of a pain in the arse you are. Joshua, not Josh, folks. He's featured in a couple of videos, but haven't seen him for a while. Joshua, not Josh, lives down here in Aotearoa. He's doing his flight training down here, hence the fancy gear. But you're a Yank. I don't know if we ever covered your backstory, Joshua. We might do that because we've got some time to fill. What do you reckon?
It's your fantasy. Do what you want.
Yeah, it is. You're right, mate. I make this shit up. So we're going to cover your backstory Enroute. But you're down here doing some flying training, which means, folks, that I'm going to sit in the right seat. And kind of act as I guess an instructor, or a pilot monitoring. Even that's a bit of a stretch. I'm really going to rely on you, Joshua, to do most of the work. You and Georgie. I just want to sit here and enjoy the scenery, look out here and enjoy this beautiful countryside. That's kind of the plan. And we'll have a chat en route. And, that's the flight, folks. But, so Joshua, not Josh. Where are you up to in your flying training, mate?
CPL, long cross country.
Ah, right. Okay, yeah, the long cross country, I remember that. So this is a long cross country. And you're doing it in the TBM 930. I mean, back in my day, we used to have to do it in a beaten up old Cherokee, or generally something with a retractable gear, I think was the requirement, wasn't it? Constant speed retractable, so yeah, an Arrow or a I don't know, one of those Cessna RG things. But yeah, you with all of your money, considering you've flown all the way down here to Unzud to do your flight training, you've managed to procure a TBM 930. I'd really like to know where your source of funds comes from, mate.
I clean pools for wealthy old men on the North Island.
Oh, I see. Okay, so maybe I don't want to know anymore. We might just leave it at that. But anyway, champ, how about you get us... there we go. I don't want to get inside your head too much. How about you get us started, and we'll get airborne. We've got plenty of time to discuss some other stuff en route. Let's go. All right. So what's the choice of runway here, Joshua?
19er.
19er. Okay. What's our wind doing, mate? Did you notice a windsock? There it is. Ho-ho! Geez, it's going to be a good challenge for you, champ. Hey? Apart from having me on board, you're also going to have to deal with a fair old chunk of crosswind here on your departure. Anyway, you're up for it, mate. The qualifying long cross country, hey? You picked a nice morning for it. Good weather here in at least in the north of the North Island. We'll see what it's like as we progress. 3.5 hours worth of flying. We're going to get to know each other better, Josh.
Joshua.
Sorry, Joshua. If nothing else. I feel like we might have covered the whole Joshua not Josh thing in a previous video, mate. So I'll just direct the good folks that may be watching this to go and explore. Somewhere in the catalogue, Joshua Not Josh will make his first appearance. And I think there was a story to that. I just can't remember what it is. All right, runway 19, Joshua. Do you want me to sort the heading bug out for you, champ? Yeah, no worries, mate. Can do that. Right, you happy with things? You got everything plugged in? Flight planny stuff. We've got our transponder happening, mate. 3333. What's up with the 3333 thing?
I'm halfway to hell.
Indeed. Hey, I'm starting to warm to your charms, mate. Anyway, I think I feel like I might know your script writer, Joshua. So crosswind from the right, mate. Ready when you are, champ. Let's make it happen.
Let's go.
You call it, mate.
Power set.
Yep, power looks to be set.
60 knots.
Rotate, mate. Oh, nicely done, champ.
Positive rate.
Gear up for you. There you go. No worries. Oh, a bit choppy. You tell me when you want flaps up, mate.
Yeah, get rid of them.
Flaps coming up for you. Nice. You gonna hand fly for a bit?
Yep, the first 5,000 feet is all mine.
Yeah, good choice, mate. Oh, it might be a good idea for that left turn, eh? No worries. So first waypoint is what?
Kai tire.
Kai tire, thank you. Safety away by the looks of it, mate. Decent old breeze though, eh? 24 knots out of the south. Hence the kind of longish flight time here. So a good southerly's blowing. Oh, beautiful morning, isn't it, hey? So where are we? I know that one's Doubtless Bay. I can't remember this one. I think it starts with R, but I can't be sure. I don't remember what this is, but that's Doubtless Bay. And yeah, we're kind of to the north of Kaitaia at this time. But yeah, beautiful conditions here this morning. Lovely. Look at the ripples on the ground there. Beautiful country in which to commit virtual aviation. Even better if you can get over here IRL, which I've had the distinct pleasure of doing on a number of occasions over the years. Why are we doing this flight today? Well, as I mentioned at the start, and I might direct these comments towards you, Joshua, not Josh. Mentioned at the start that I've wanted to do this flight for a while, and Joshua, not Josh, happened to call me out of the blue. And what did you say on the phone, mate?
I want to go top to tail.
Yeah, and that's all I needed. Doesn't take much, folks. I'm easily pleased, and it's a world of simulation. Can make anything happen. Suspend your disbelief, folks. I'm remembering an old boss of mine. It was his frequent advice to me. Suspend your disbelief, son. Just like I do every time you show up in that shirt. Sorry, folks, tangent time. Sorry, Joshua. I know you're trying to concentrate on this very important part of your flight training. But another reason for doing this flight, as I jump back into my seat. It's quite a weird side picture, actually, in the right-hand side. Was that we've had the pleasure of the New Zealand Prime Minister, Chris. Sorry, mate. I'm sure you do have a last name. But we got used to calling the former Prime Minister Cindy or Jacinta. In formal context, it was Jacinta, but for the rest of us, most of the time informally, he called her Cindy. I'm sure some Kiwis called her a lot of other things as well. I'm not going to offer any commentary on that side of things. I know there is some division in New Zealand in terms of the political persuasions and different perspectives on where the country's at and where it's going. As we turn overhead, the beautiful town of Kaitaia, there's a little strip down there somewhere. There's a VOR which we've just overflown. Where's the strip? We're a little bit high, are we? We're actually able to see it. No, there it is there. Sort of the VOR is kind of near there. There it is. But yeah, we've hosted recently anyway, the rather newish New Zealand Prime Minister came over here. Not sure why he was over here. I don't know, probably begging for cash or something. I don't know. I've got no idea. Oh yes, I do. I really should have a script, folks. Something about citizenship. We've made it easier for Kiwis to get citizenship here in Australia, and therefore get our govy benefits. I think there's probably other reasons that he was here, but there was an announcement of sorts from our Prime Minister, Albo. That's what we do here in Australia. We give our Prime Ministers nicknames. Albo is ours. Current Prime Minister anyway. And yeah, we've made it easier for Kiwis to gain citizenships here. So, and of course the fearmongers are kind of promoting that as the world's coming to an end. We're going to have an influx of Kiwis coming over and stealing our jobs and stealing our money and stealing our women. I don't know. This is the sort of rubbish that people go on with. We've got quite a few Kiwis over here. I don't know what the exact number is, but it's got to be, hundreds of thousands, I would guess. Most of them concentrated on the Gold Coast in Queensland and the southern suburbs of Brisbane. And I say that with affection, folks. I say that with affection. I've had the distinct pleasure, the honour even, of interacting with many Kiwis over the years, here in Australia and also in their fine land. And yeah, we give each other a nice gentle ribbing, and that's just what we do. So welcome our new Kiwi overlords to Australia, and yeah. So that's why we are. It's a very long kind of explanation, isn't it, Joshua? That's probably, you haven't appeared for a while. Is it because you got sick of me? Like, we only had a couple of dates back in the day, so to speak. Where you been?
You're all about Jude these days. Jude.
Yeah, but yeah, that doesn't stop you from showing up, though. I mean, like, you can coexist with Jude. I mean, yeah, Jude's the number one. Well, I've got to say Jude's everything to me because she may be listening. But, between you and me, she's just one of the harem. I mean, there's room for you in my harem, Joshua.
Stop. This is getting weird.
Right, Joshua, not Josh. Normally at this point in a video, mate, for the good folks, I generally do a little bit of a sort of status update thing. So tell them, words to the effect that we're settled nicely in the cruise. So would you like to do this portion? I'll give you give you some prompts. So, yeah, tell them that we're settled nicely in the cruise.
We're settled nicely in the cruise.
And what altitude are we at, mate?
290.
Nice. How about our ground speed?
312 knots.
Maybe throw in a bit of wind strength and direction to sound like a real pilot.
59 knots from the west.
Nicely done, mate. Very nicely done. I mean, you've already got the 4 stripes. I mean, you're already 4 stripes more than me. So, you know, I feel a little bit intimidated by that. I feel like, you know, you probably don't have a lot to learn from the old fella, but that won't stop me from offering some advice. And I hope that it's taken in good spirit. Alright, that's Greater Auckland down there, folks. Seeing the contrails from a departing aircraft. There's Auckland International there. Beautiful day, if a little blowy up here at flight level 290. We've got 70 knots blowing across from the west. Slight northerly component to the breeze, and getting along at 71 knots now. It's picking up as we continue our southbound journey, getting along the ground at 306 knots. Currently forecasting to be on the ground in less than 2.5 hours, so we're doing okay. Plenty of fuel, plenty of endurance. We're only sipping the gas up here, 52 gallons an hour, so we're looking good. We won't have any dramas in terms of fuel. A few little gentle bumps that you can see coming through there. Speaking of gentle bumps, Joshua, how's the love life, mate?
Plenty busy.
Ooh, good to hear. Yeah, I guess that's part of what's keeping you down here in New Zealand, eh? Because you're a Yank. You're a Yank doing your flight training here in New Zealand. Right. Where do you hail from in the States, mate?
Springfield, Missouri.
Right. Okay. And what brought you to New Zealand?
Cute men with even cuter accents.
Wow. I appreciate your honesty. And your confidence. It's obviously working for you, Joshua. Good on you, mate. All right, bit of an update from the flight deck. I might do this one if that's okay, Joshua.
Go for it.
Thanks, mate. So we've just kind of passed Tekapo. They're off to the it's now becoming sort of the northeast. Currently en route to Waiouru, and we will be there in a couple of minutes. We've got some weather building out towards the east. We're going to kind of skirt it because we're going to take a right dogleg down towards Palmerston North, aka Palmy. Man, this country's so well represented in this sim. Look at that. Tongariro National Park, etc. Majestic location, New Zealand. Aotearoa. I'll mispronounce it just one more time. I'll be having my Kiwi friends cringing at this point. But I give it a go. You've got to give me credit for that. Joshua, you've got to give me credit for that, don't you, mate?
I admire your courage.
Thank you, mate. Look, I appreciate that support, hey. That's the kind of support that I'd like to receive from Jude. You know? You know what I'm saying? And this is what I appreciate you, mate. You know, you might get yourself a gig, a more sort of frequent gig on this channel with that sort of support for the old man. I really like the cut of your jib, Joshua. I'm not flirting with you here, mate. Just man oh man, mano oh mano, bloke to bloke, on the level. Just saying that I appreciate you. Yeah, we should do that more in life, shouldn't we, folks? Just appreciate each other. Hey? Sorry, got a little bit deep there, Joshua. Unintentionally. But then again, most things on this channel are unintentional. We'll see you somewhere over the South Island, folks. Alright, folks, that's Greater Christchurch that you see on your screen. Currently just shy of Rangiora, and our next waypoint will kind of be over in that direction, being Lake Tekapo. Flight's been going well. We are, well, apart from fighting a bit of an annoying headwind of, easy 98 knots on the nose. So we have slowed up a little bit. But yeah, forecasting to be touched down in 1 hour and 24 minutes. And we should have sort of 90 minutes worth of fuel in the tanks at that time. But yeah, 98 of the best knots that you will find in flight simulation, folks. Right on the nose. Just gone to 99. Can we crack the ton? Can we crack the ton before this segment's over? We'll find out. Joshua, it's been an absolute pleasure here, mate, sharing this journey with you. But I thought we'd take the opportunity to get to know you a little bit better outside of the flight simulation context. I mean, I feel like we've touched on it a little bit, but one thing we haven't covered, mate, is kind of your interests and pastimes and all that sort of stuff outside of the flying caper. What do you like to do when you're not featured in a flight simulation video with an old man?
I like drinking pina coladas and getting caught in the rain.
Ah, okay. A little bit predictable, mate. I think you might want to send that one back to the writer's room. But in all seriousness, mate, come on. This is a very serious simulation channel. What do you like to do in your spare time?
Origami.
Origami. Okay, wasn't expecting that.
I am full of surprises.
Indeed you are. Yeah. How the heck does a guy from bloody, where were you? Springfield, Missouri, get involved in the origami game?
I learned it from Kimmy.
Kimmy? Who's Kimmy?
He's my Japanese friend.
Japanese friend. Righto. Is he here in New Zealand, is he?
Yep, lives in Hamilton.
Okay, so a Japanese friend here in New Zealand. What? And he's into the origami caper. So is he like a teacher or something, is he?
He teaches origamic therapy. When you fold with Kimmy, you transcend reality.
Wow. Jesus, mate. I feel like I've transcended reality simply by having this conversation. I don't know where to go from there, mate. Folks, we might see you for an approach. I'm lost. I think I've crossed over. Lake Tekapo, folks, this one here. Beautiful, isn't it? The Southern Alps of New Zealand. Now we are rocking and rolling. We've had some big hits of turbulence, because we're fighting 125 knots out of the south. Our ground speed has reduced down to about 220 knots. So we are fighting it here, carrying an enormous amount of crab as we truck down towards our next waypoint, being the airstrip there at Lake Tekapo, then into Queenstown. Now, Joshua, you were saying that you've got a plan to get us out of these strong winds. Is that right, mate?
Yep. Shall I show you?
Yeah, please do. Should I jump downstairs as you talk? Yeah, righto, mate. So, what have you got for us?
Overhead Queenstown at 190.
Righto, so down to 190 at Queenstown, and then you've got us at...
And then Invercargill at 10.
Invercargill at 10, right. Okay, so you've got some VNAV stuff happening, hey? So top of descent is about 20 minutes from now. Is there any chance that you can kind of get us down earlier or what? I mean, what's the logic by delaying that descent?
No logic at all. Just how you like it, buddy.
Oh, right. You want to... Okay, you do want a more permanent gig on this channel. With that sort of thinking. Hey? You've watched some of my videos, mate. Ah, Joshua. It's been a joy, mate. Absolute joy. Folks, we'll see you for the concluding stages. Joshua, have you checked the weather for where are we ending up? Ryan's Creek? You checked that yet, mate?
Not yet.
Okay, so how about you do that before we come back for the next and final segment? Please, simming gods, make this end. Folks, the scene on your screen, that's Invercargill. Invercargill, that's the airstrip and the town itself. We have reached our final leg. We're crossing the strait that starts with F. I'm not prepared to mispronounce again. I've done enough mispronunciation. Apologies to all of my Kiwi viewers for mangling your place names. How far we got to go, Joshua? We've got 8 minutes to run. Oh, we have just been battling that southerly all the way. Pretty much from sort of Palmerston north is when I first sort of noticed that we had quite a big shift. It was out of the west earlier in the flight and then it shifted around to a southwesterly and then just a full-on southerly, 125 knots at its peak. And we've kind of been on descent, well, two stages. We were on descent into Queenstown and then we were kind of levelled for a bit, and then we're on descent from sort of halfway between Queenstown and Invercargill, and then we're going to continue down. Looking like an approach into what runway there at Ryan's Creek, Joshua?
2-2.
2-2, okay, mate. And wind conditions?
230 at 20.
Right. So I think 2-2 is a pretty good choice, mate. We'll make you a pilot yet. What do you got planned for us, mate? A visual? You've got it plugged in, yeah? Okay.
Affirm.
All right, mate. Well, I'm going to shut up for the most part for the remaining, for the final segment of this flight. Let Joshua commentate his way down onto runway 22 at Ryan's Creek. All right, Josh, you tell me what you want me to do here, mate. I'm in your capable hands. Your origamic trained hands.
Autopilot off, please.
Yeah, I can do that, mate. Give Georgie a rest, no worries.
And flight director off too.
Yep, flight director can come off. No worries, mate. How are we looking on profile?
Happy for now.
Yep, you're happy, I'm happy too, champ. I might just zoom in on the old PFD display though, mate. Just allow me to fine-tune my monitoring, hey? As you come down. Just do us a favour, mate, keep the speed up, eh? Get this thing on the ground. My patience is wearing thin. My bladder control even thinner, so make it snappy, pal. Have you been to Ryan's Creek before, Joshua?
I've never heard of the place.
Oh, that's a no. Just if you don't mind, Joshua, I'll just talk to the viewers for a minute. Shout out to anyone who hails from this part of the world. I'll include the Invercargillians. Is that how you refer to yourselves? People that hail from Invercargill. Give us a shout in the comments. You hail from this part of the world. What are you doing, Joshua? You're going to take a shortcut, mate. You're going to cut it fine? Yeah, okay. Just keep the speed up though, mate, please. Don't reduce that torque too much. Or too quickly. Really need to get this thing on the ground, mate. You got a runway in sight, Joshua, or?
I think so.
It kind of looks like something out there, doesn't it? You might be getting a tad low on it, mate.
I concur.
I'm glad you concur. That's a very fancy word. Concur. Don't hear that enough. Flight simulation channels. Mate, I think you're, yeah, might need to do something a little bit about that approach. Where are you heading? Where are you pointing the nose here? I'm seeing two potential runways. I think one's more of a chance of being a runway than the other.
Approach flaps, please.
Yeah, I can do your flaps for you, champ. No worries. Yeah, okay. I think we're now concurring on which of those clearings represents a runway, hey? There we go. You let me know when you want me to grab the knob and drop the gear, pal.
Gear down.
Yeah, no worries. Alright. Interesting approach here, hey?
Damn, this is a strong wind.
It is a strong breeze, mate. 26 knots. I'm gonna pull up pretty quick. She's a short stripper by the looks of it. You happy with profile or what?
Happy enough.
Let me know when you want landing flap. It's gonna be choppy. Let's watch for wind shear here, mate, I reckon. She's all over the place. You want landing flap or what?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Alright, get us on, mate. Work your magic. You can earn your money today.
Bit high.
Yeah, definitely high. Just watch you don't lose all that bloody wind. Like this. Starting to sink, mate. Correct it. Whoa! You're doing well. Get us on the deck, mate. Get us on the deck. Nice. Nicely recovered. Oh, that was firm. Firm but good. Into reverse, mate. You'll pull that pretty quick. Straight into the breeze. Ah, nicely done. We'll take that. Righto. Chuck a Yui and head back to the shed, mate. Nicely done. A bit of an incline there on the strip by the looks of it. Unless my eyes deceive me. Yeah, challenging approach.
Landing score?
Oh, I'd probably give you a solid 7 there, mate, considering the conditions. I am a little bit harsh, but that's Jude's influence on me lately. Just allow me to talk to the viewers, if you will, Joshua. Thanks, mate. If you find us a parking spot. Folks, thank you for your company in another video. This has been a long flight, and probably a lengthy kind of video as well. Just over to the right, I think, mate.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just parking near the windsock for now. That's it. Yeah, thank you for your company in another video. This has been quite an adventure. Aotearoa. Oh, I've mangled that. Aotearoa. Top to tail with our good friend Joshua, not Josh. Thank you for your company, champ. And it's been good fun learning about you. I feel like I've explored the enigmatic being that is Joshua, not Josh, in a way that well, only a video on this channel can. Folks, until we meet again, stay safe, enjoy your simming, and bye for now.